Good morning, all, and it's my pleasure to represent Christian Medical College Vellore in this public health conference. I am Beena, and I'm a professor of developmental pediatrics. And the topic that I will cover today is an evaluation that we have done in the community regarding home environment. Home environment, short-term trends and predictors in early childhood from an Indian birth cohort. And I'm part of a large team, including members from Welcome Research Unit, Community Health, and the Low Cost Effective Care Unit at CMC Well. Why did I go about evaluating home environment? Early childhood home environment is intricately linked to child development and later cognitive skills. If you all understand how children are early on, most of the time they spend at home rather than anywhere outside. So optimal home environment is important to have a good early childhood development, and that is shown to have effect on later cognitive skills as well. So there is limited literature evaluating home environmental trends and predictors in the low middle income country settings, and that is why we embarked on this current study to determine the trends of early childhood home environment at 6, 24, and 36 months of age and their predictors. So what was the methodology that we utilized? It was a longitudinal community-based birth cohort follow-up study, and this was conducted in a semi-urban slum in Vellore, South India. And the subjects were recruited by consecutive sampling between March 2010 and February 2012, and we have subsequently followed these children at different time points. So what was the outcome measure we utilized? It was the home environment was objectively assessed using the home observation for the measurement of the environment, that also is known as home, and the home scale was utilized for the study, and we analyzed the predictors. Coming to the results, the birth cohort enrolled originally 251 children, that is at birth, and we had a follow-up of 235 children and 228 and 218 children at 6, 24, and 36 months respectively. And when we evaluated home over time, actually home did not differ, the whole overall score did not differ between 6, 24, and 36 months. But when we looked at the subdomains, as expected, let's say the play pattern of the children improved over time because children are becoming bigger, and their interaction improved over time. The availability of toys improved over time. But there are other factors which actually worsened over time, and that is also as expected. Uh, uh, Indian parents do punish children, so punishment and all those behaviors actually, worsened in the 6 to 36 months. And also the cleanliness of the child, actually that was also another component of home, that also worsened over time. And what was the single biggest predictor for home score? At each time point, socioeconomic status was the biggest predictor. And if you look at the correlation coefficient, at 6 months, it was 0.244. And at 24 months, it was 0.462. And at 36 months, it was 0.563. So that shows actually the SES was as the biggest predictor, and it was the strength was increasing over time. When the socioeconomic status was evaluated using a score known as WAMI, which is already published, it looks at the water and sanitation, looked at assets and maternal education, and the income of the family. And out of all these factors, the maternal education predicted the home environment at 24 and 36 months. So if we understand in our settings, as in most other settings worldwide, mother is the primary caregiver, and their education and their well-being predicted the home environment. If I may go a little bit more into the home environment has two large components. One is a physical component, what are the physical things that are available in the home environment? And the second one actually is the emotional component. emotional component or the relational component is the one where how the caregiver or other members of the family relate to the child. And studies have shown that the relational environment can override the physical environment. That means even if the physical environment is quite sparse, like toys and other play materials are not available, the individuals can actually have a fun time or a play time with the child and positive interaction that can overrule the difficulties in the physical environment. That is quite encouraging for a lot of our mothers and for a lot of us researchers to understand that some of these can override. So not surprisingly, our findings again show that maternal factors including education and depression affect the home environment. Education positively affected the home environment, while depression negatively affected home environment at 6 and 24 months. So overall, when we are looking at socioeconomic status, including what is the physical status, the income status, as well as the maternal factors, such as education and depression, and affected the home environment. I didn't go into further details of the assets bit. Even assets increased over time, and the number of physical assets also contributed to the overall change in the home environment. When we sub-analyze this, we realize actually that was actually intricately linked to the number of toys or the number of playthings that the child has access to. And again, it is not a surprising finding knowing what we find in the community itself. So coming to the conclusion, socioeconomic status and maternal factors consistently predicted the early childhood environment at 6, 24, and 36 months of age, and is changed over time. So what we understand from this is socioeconomic status is important. At the same time, it's important to support maternal education and well-being, along with a lot of efforts we take to improve socioeconomic status so that we can optimize early childhood home environment. Thank you all for your patient listening.